Right, so for the rest of the show, we figured we would kind of count down our top cinematic couples. And we've been furiously trying to note them down now.
Yeah.
And I know I'm going to forget one.
I know, I'm sure I've forgotten them. All I can think of are really dark ones as well.
All these are going to be really, like, fluffy and soppy and, like, oh, they are really a really cute couple,
I don't know, I think mine are fairly
yeah?
disgusting too, so...
Okay.
Amy Dunn and Nick Dunn.
The ultimate cinematic. Actually, they're like
nice
anti-couple.
at first, they're really cute
They're
together.
like the anti-couple, though, aren't they? They are literally like... I can't think of a couple that despise each other more than those do.
I don't know. I think if you scratch beneath it, they kind of need each other.
There must be some sort of... It's not love, though. Then it's reliance or whatever, isn't it?
No, I think...
Dependence.
I think it's
That's
just...
what constitutes
I think
a
it's
great couple,
displaced.
dependence.
I think it's just displaced love.
This is like the whole Taxi Driver argument all over again, isn't it? Travis Bickle is misunderstood, damn it.
He is.
Right,
he
okay.
is.
My first pick for cinematic couple is Wally and Eva.
That's good.
From Wally.
Yeah.
Because they managed to, as far as couples go anyway, they managed to display their love without saying more than one word to each other. And all they really say is just each other's names. It's really, really cute. And I mean, it might be that they only fall in love because they're both the only two robots on a barren wasteland. But the fact is they do fall in love, and it's very, very sweet.
Yeah,
Pixar have this really great... And I mean, I think Disney in general, because Lady and the Tramp does this as well quite well. But Pixar have this really great way of kind of anthropomorphizing that word. The one where you turn things that aren't humans into humans.
I think you got it right.
Disney and Pixar do that brilliantly, and Pixar do it so well with the robots that you buy into this romance, even though it's kind of just robots banging heads together. It's really, really sweet, and like I say, all with entirely no dialogue at all.
Yeah, no, they're good. I like them.
Thoroughly impressive.
They're one of the few things that managed to touch my soul.
Aww.
So
that black endless pit of despair.
And I'm going to continue with emotions as well. Clarence and Alabama from True Romance.
Now they really do love each other.
Yeah, they're sweet. It doesn't matter that they kill people. they are sweet together. They're in the Bonnie and Clyde tradition. But I would say, unlike Bonnie and Clyde, Clarence and Alabama don't really mean to get involved in all of that. Like Bonnie and Clyde, they kind of did it on purpose. Clarence and Alabama, they're just looking out for each other, and they have
accidentally end up in this downward spiral.
And let's be honest, the people they kill kind of deserve it. They don't kill anyone bad.
No, that's true.
No, they don't. And I don't know, they kind of like in this permanent honeymoon phase that's quite sweet, and they've got the lovely music. The music is lovely.
Aww,
it is very nice music.
They do indeed have a true romance.
Yeah, I really like Clarence and Alabama because, I don't know, they remind me of me and Naoma, apart from the killing and the profession of Alabama.
Oh yeah, isn't she a prostitute?
Yeah, I only just realised that.
Yeah, you're probably regretting saying that now.
I
would like to give a little shout out to that other couple that Quentin Tarantino wrote but never directed. Mickey and Mallory Knox from Natural Born Killers. Because they're almost in the same sort of vein as...
But they're a little bit more...
They're a lot more psychotic. They are basically just like a 90s version of Bonnie and Clyde. Really.
Yeah.
They are just totally psychotic, and they do it. But the fact is that they're both psychotic. they do it together. They do it out of love for each other. So it's kind of...
It's true.
They physically can't stand not being with each other to the point where they force and stage a prison breakout just so they can be with each other again. They don't care about dying. They just want to be with each other. And that's proper intense love, that.
I kind of agree. Do you want me to do another one?
Kind of?
Well, I mean, as I was saying with True Romance, at least they're sort of within the realm of sanity. They're kind of actually sweet and cute in a way. Whereas I would say Natural Born Killers, we are more in the sort of the insane.
They're both
part
mentally
of the
disturbed.
Yeah.
But they're mentally disturbed in the same way.
I see where
they
you're coming
love
from,
each other's imperfections.
But I feel like if I said this about some of the other characters that I talk about sometimes, you would be looking at me like I was disturbed.
I wouldn't say disturbed.
Wouldn't you?
Okay, let's move on. What's your next one?
My next one, and I have a song ready for this. I don't know if you want to be ready, but it's actually Zombieland.
Oh.
With Columbus and Wichita. That's how you say
Wichita.
it. Yeah.
That's
The thing is, it's actually this is a weird one in that I would say this is one where I feel like how you felt about Deadpool, which is weird 'cause it's the same writers now that I think about it. In that I would say the romance part of it is actually my favourite part of the film.
Really?
Yeah, I think it's really sweet and really
they do
cute.
have really good chemistry.
They have good chemistry, and I don't know. I'm normally not the kind of person who kind of can get behind the whole sort of nice guy who's never had a girl before, but that kind of thing. I just find it kind of boring. But here, I genuinely do kind of go like, yeah. And there's that
Doing
bit where
John Bender
yeah,
fist pump.
and there's that bit where they dance together. When they're in Bill Murray's house.
Oh yeah, well they nearly kiss. But
Yeah, that bit's really sweet, and I really like the song that plays there.
I just remember at that point when I saw it in the cinema, like wanting them to kiss as well.
Yeah,
and I was
really
like 14 when this film came out, so the fact that I
that's my
wanted
point.
that to happen is kind of
That's
weird.
exactly my point. I genuinely, it's one of the few times where I genuinely feel invested, and I'm genuinely like, if they don't get together, that will upset me.
Aww.
I really like them, and they're cool people. I mean, I won't mention it now because I feel like it'd be too much overlap. But I would also say Andrew Garfield and Emma Stone in The Amazing Spider-Man. Look, I know you don't like the films, but don't you? That's the best part of them, isn't it?
Yeah, that is true.
That's the best part.
They do have really, really good chemistry. I think Emma Stone in general.
She's
is
just good.
She's good at like getting good chemistry with people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Valentine's Day should just be Emma Stone Day.
You hear that now, Emma?
This is Two of the Lucky Ones by, I have no idea, Drog and the something.
The Droge and Summers Blend. Such a strange name.
Yeah.
Here it is anyway. So, that was Two of the Lucky Ones by The Droge and Summers Blend. It's such a strange name for a band. Would you have known that song without Zombieland?
No. Apparently a lot of people play it at their weddings, though. I don't know if that's because of
Really?
Zombieland
That's
or
quite
not.
a depressing song to play at a wedding.
Oh, I think it's nice.
Do you want to continue with the list?
Isn't it your turn? I think
Is it? Oh,
yeah,
it
I
is.
think it is.
Well, I'll tell you what. I'll open up one that we can both talk about. 'Cause I know that you're a big purveyor of this one. Let the right one in.
Yay!
Oscar and Ely.
Yeah.
Because whenever anyone ever talks about this film and they describe it as a horror film, I always think it's more of a romance.
No, it's not a horror film.
Yeah.
I mean,
It is-
it has horror elements, but no, it's not. It's definitely
vampires and stuff. But it is a romance film.
Yeah.
Isn't it? Even though this central couple are very strange.
and they're
they
not
are-
like. I mean, they are. They love each other, but I don't know if
Well,
would you
no,
even
he
call them
loves
a
her.
couple. I think she likes him.
She
It
has a
depends on how you
fondness
read
for
it.
him,
It
but
depends on how you read
I
it.
read it from the point that she's using him.
That's
The
fine.
first time I watched it, I read it from, they are in love. But
Yeah,
then
no,
at
it,
the
it
end you
changes
realise
each
there
time.
is-
He wrote a little like epilogue story to it called
right.
"Let the Old Dreams Die," and in that they give a definitive answer.
What
but
is the definitive answer?
that they stay together and that they genuinely
Aw.
they don't like. She makes him a vampire too,
Oh, okay.
and they like live together just happily rather than being he's not used. But obviously, from the film's point of view,
Yeah.
it's open to interpretation. But yeah, no, I think they're really sweet, and in kind of like a more realistic, kind of understated way.
Definitely.
Just in the way that they kind of, I don't know, the way that like they bond over a Rubik's cube and things, and just like they never say like make any like grand declarations or anything. It's just really understated
It's
and
got that proper feeling of first love.
yeah.
Like they are just working out.
I remember that.
All those years ago. there is just something, like you say, just something very sweet, something kind of innocent about
Yeah.
him, especially.
Mm.
And they're just good together. They're cute. There's chemistry there.
Yeah,
So
it's good and Let Me In too.
and that, yeah, as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're good in that. I always forget about that. Man,
Don't. It's really good.
I won't. It is really good. Matt Reeves did a good job with that. Right, what's your next one?
Let's go with the one, the probably the only one that actually makes me cry, and this is weird to talk about then, but King Kong and Anne
That
from
makes
King
you
Kong.
cry.
The Peter Jackson one makes me cry.
Aww.
The 30s one doesn't really make me cry because I always felt like people will say, oh, but the Peter Jackson one is a little too sentimental. I don't really feel like the 30s one's sentimental enough because he just is a monstrous murderer that just eats people in that one, and there's never really any, like, he just sort of treats her like property in that film, like a doll that he just picks up and uses. But in the Peter Jackson one, there's a genuine emotional like connection there. And when I don't even, what's it, 2005, I'd have been 10, I did cry, and I think it was the first time that I cried
First
in a.
time you ever cried.
No, the first time I cried at a film in like an emotional way, rather than like rather than being like scared or just upset in that kind of kid way. Like the first time where I was crying because something
You were
was
moved. Basically.
Yeah. The first time I was like moved, and it still does, and. Yeah, no, that one really gets to me, and it's between a woman and a gorilla, which says a lot
It's
about
a
my.
very large gorilla.
Yeah,
To be
yeah.
fair.
It's again, I keep coming back to it with all of them, but the music's really sweet. The music really helps to sell it, but also, it's because it takes the time to actually develop it, rather than just do what other films might do and just sort of suggest that there's a connection, and then he dies and
To
it's
be
sad. Like
fair-
it actually takes the time to focus on it.
They do that really well. But to be fair, Peter Jackson had the time. It's a 3-hour movie. A lot of other directors don't get that time.
I like that film
But to
very
be
much.
fair, as far as monster movies go, it is cool that there is a romance to it.
And it works.
Yeah, and the fact
it
that
works.
it does
Like
work
that
as
bit
well.
with them just skating around in Central Park, on the ice. That bit's really sweet, really cute.
Aw.
And then when he dies, it's really sad. That's emotions. That was the best review ever.
you
Then
can't
he dies,
see it.
and it's really sad. And then
can't-
this happens, and it's really cute.
You can't see it, but there's a little twinkle in Harrison's eye.
I can't do emotions very well. Let's
Oh,
talk
no,
about
you can,
Deadpool
you can
again.
do emotions. Because do you remember,
Anger.
it was a year ago today.
Don't bring it up, Ben.
year
Why
ago
are you
today.
doing this?
You cried on camera
Don't bring it up.
because of that film.
I don't like it's like Remembrance Day. It's a horrible memory thinking, but I'm
Should we-
so glad that we're not in that Hunger Games or Twilight position where we're getting it yearly, because I'm not ready. I'm not ready for another one.
There's a film that I know we both really like, which I don't think gets enough love.
It's our film.
Union Films played it at the Halloween All-Nighter when we were in first year a couple of years ago. It's an Australian slasher movie called The Loved Ones, which is about a girl who is so obsessed with a guy at her high school that she kidnaps him and takes him to her own prom. And her father keep him hostage and torture him, and it's pretty horrible. But she plays him a song the whole way through the film, which has basically just kind of become our anthem.
It is our
In many
song.
ways, it
It's
is
our
our
song. That was like our first date.
This is... I can't believe I'm about to actually play this on the radio. It's thoroughly disturbing as well.
Is it really? I don't know how.
In the
like,
film, it's disturbing. The
but
song
like,
itself
I don't
is
know
just
what.
sickening.
Even if
sweet,
I hadn't
but-
seen the film, I think it would be
Yeah,
disturbing.
that's true. It's almost like a Japanese pop song. It's
Yeah.
just so like...
Creepy.
Yeah, this is Casey Chambers with Am I Not Pretty Enough?
Am I not pretty enough? Is my heart too broken? Do I cry too much?
So that was Am I Not Pretty Enough by Casey Chambers.
That
from
was
The Lost Ones.
disturbing.
That was disturbing because, just to give it a bit of context, when they play that in the film, it's during a number of different torture sequences.
Yeah.
And it's very intense and not very nice.
But I also think it's just disturbing, like
Yeah,
without
and
the film.
It's just so bland as a song. I forgot how terrible it is.
Oh, I have literally one other one that I want to talk about, and that is from probably my favorite straight rom-com, as in straightforward rom-com,
Right.
not straight as in heterosexual rom-com. And that's 10 Things I Hate About You, which I
See,
really like.
I find it weird.
I
that
don't
you
know.
like Ted
I
Entertainment.
don't
mean,
know
it is
why-
a really good film, but it's not.
I know
the
it's
sort
not
of film
my kind of film.
It's very MTV.
I think the
Very
reason that I
MTV.
like it is because I think a lot of the kind of like teen rom-coms can be very kind of like, we have problems and things, whereas in 10 Things I Hate About You, it's just happy, and they're just nice. And I think because I watched it when I was like 13 or whatever, so it kind of reminds me of being in high school. Not high school, secondary school, whatever.
Reminds you of the days before responsibility.
Yeah. Also, I really like its soundtrack again. I've said
It
that
does
like
have a
literally every film that we've mentioned, but I really like its soundtrack.
Is it Letters to Cleo that have a couple of songs like that? They're really good. So.
Yeah. And,
The one problem I have with that is
Mm.
the resolution.
why?
Just the ending. It's like, oh, you were horrible to me, but you bought me a guitar. Now I love you. It's like, really?
I guess. But I really like them as a couple too, because
Yeah, they're
like it's another kind of like, I normally don't like the whole kind of like, I hate you but really we love you thing, but here I don't know, I just think it works.
Fair enough.
Partly because Heath Ledger's so good.
That's true. And she's pretty good as well.
Yeah, no, Julia Stiles is good too.
I've got a couple.
Okay.
To kind of counter your... I'm just going to run through them pretty quickly.
Okay.
To counter your Andrew Garfield, Emma Stone.
Oh,
Tobey
No.
Maguire, Kirsten Dunst and Sam Raimi Spider-Man.
I don't have time to disagree with you.
in the
Go on.
first Sam Raimi Spider-Man, anyway. I think
They get what she gets worse.
This goes back to, you know, you said you kind of like 10 Things I Hate About You because of nostalgia.
Mm.
This is nostalgia all over for me.
Yeah.
The first Spider-Man came out when I was 7 and I loved it. And this was the first time I actually paid attention to a cinematic romance. So I liked it. 500 Days of Summer, just because it's so odd. And it is kind of it's almost a romance film, like an anti-romance film, a romance film in reverse a lot of the time. It's Tom and Summer are not a good couple, but that's kind of why they're a good couple, and it's so interesting, and I get something new out of it every time I watch it.
So Mark Webb has been covered twice now.
Yeah, Mark Webb's good at this, basically. I can't wait to see what he comes out with now, actually, now that he's free of Spider-Man. I don't know what he's going to do. And then last of all, Scott and Ramona in Scott Pilgrim
I
vs.
hate
the
them.
World. Which I know you hate. I love
I hate
the film
them on
to
a
pieces.
moral ground as well.
And I know that they're not like, but I think that's part of the point of the film is that Scott is so up himself.
It's the ending that pisses that
Well,
annoys
that's an
me.
alternate ending as well. They changed
The alternate ending is so much better. The alternate
the
ending
one
is
where
how
he gets with knives.
yeah.
That was the original ending.
That's
and
so
apparently
much better.
Test audiences hated it.
It doesn't make any sense. That's the right ending.
It's
That's
not.
the ending
I'd
that makes
feel
sense.
cheated if he went through
No.
the whole film fighting all these exes to get to Ramona, and then they didn't get together at the end. I'd
No,
feel cheated.
it's the wrong ending got through.
It's a proper like epic romance. Of,
I don't like
New
that
end.
he like messes both of them around and then gets to choose which one he wants at the end.
maybe he
Annoys
shouldn't
me.
be allowed to choose, but he shouldn't end up with knives.
Okay, well I don't want him to choose either way.
Anyway, that has been our top cinematic couples.